5 of high school football season, and we've got Matt, Kory, and Camille live at Moline's Browning Field for the Score on the Road.
Yeah, David, it is week 5 of the high school football season. We're here at Browning Field. Moline, Rock Island really needs no hype. It's one of the best rivalries in the entire state. We talked to Mike Morrissey earlier in the show. We're now joined by Todd Thompson, the athletic director here at Moline. And when you get ready for a week like this and you got to host a game like this, what is it like? Is it more hectic than the other 4 or 5 you get during the year?
It definitely is, just because of all the fans that we come for this big rivalry, like 100+ years of this going on. So we got to amp up certain workers and security and things like that. I mean, obviously, we try to keep the kids on their side of the field. So it's a lot of moving parts. And then we have, obviously more media and things like that. So it brings a lot of attention.
Sure.
When you get ready for the game and it starts, do you enjoy it, or are you, like you said, focus on all the other moving parts that you don't get to see what happens?
Yeah, I mean, leading up to it, it's like you kind of are expecting everybody to do their job. You want people to show up on time and do those things. Once the whistle blows and the kickoff, then you kind of get to relax a little bit, watch the game, and then obviously tonight might be a little different. If we got some storms coming in and things like that, I might have to, stay busy. But
you're giving Andrew a mean look over there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Don't kill the messenger, I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
We like when we're busy. It's a busy week for you. Do you like it, or you kind of?
Yeah. The hard part is you work so far ahead in this job to make sure that everything's scheduled ahead of time, and then you got to come back to today and then just make sure that all the pieces that you've set 2-3 weeks ago are going to work out. But mainly keeping busy keeps my mind off of the wins and losses type thing, and so I like to sit there and do my job. I was already working in January today in my office. So.
You mentioned the wins and the losses, the records of this game. They say throw the records out the window when Rock Island and Moline play. Well, I think both coaches would be okay with throwing the records out the window. 1-3 versus 0-4. But as you look at this Moline football team, a really tough schedule early on. Some would blame the athletic director, but a really tough schedule early on. You can see some really good things happening with this football team and this program.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the games that we've even lost, I think there's no question that we could also be 3-1 at this point in the season. So we had, the 3-point loss against, Geneseo, and then, we were tied with Quincy with, I think, under a minute left. Yeah. So they could be vice versa. We could be looking at, a 7-1, 8-1 season coming up. So, but we're not. So we got to battle through it, and obviously we got a good guy at the head of this team. So Mike does a great job, and he'll get this thing turned around.
Sure.
I think 119 years for this rivalry. Is there a moment or something you remember, not necessarily football, but just something about Moline Rocky rivalry that it's kind of in your mind?
Why do you hate Rock Island?
I'll be honest, being born and raised in Moline, I remember obviously the late 90s when I was in high school. Those were some crazy matchups with, Alonzo Wise and all those guys being, and, even McGuire as the coach, and going back that far. We had some crazy games. There was like inadvertent whistles that came out in the news and everything. So it was pretty, pretty crazy back then. But then going through the college, you kind of separate yourself a little bit, and then coming back to teaching at Moline. It's been part of us for part of my whole life.
Right.
So you said sometimes you try not to think. I'm sure you're trying not to think about the weather. Or maybe what is the plan if something, God forbid, Andrew, were to happen?
Obviously.
This is no announcement. So
it's not official. We're just asking.
What would happen? Obviously, the safety of all the players is the first thing that we got to worry about. So if we see lightning or there's lightning in the area, then from there we would make sure that the players head into Wharton Fieldhouse, and then once that lightning strikes, every lightning strike after that's a 30-minute delay. So we just kind of wait it out, and it looks like we might have a little bit of that coming tonight. So we just continue to talk with the officials and go from there.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but most stadiums don't have to concern themselves with a natural grass surface.
Sure.
So,
but it does look nice behind us.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It looks gorgeous.
We'll see how it looks at 10:30.
But that's something you have to take into account, because rainy weather and messing up fields and all that kind of stuff affects the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that might happen, and not saying that it will, but if we have to end up moving one of the lower level games, even this coming week or next week, just to keep them off of this field and maybe move it to the opposing team, like if they have turf, we might just switch locations over over to the turf field. So that's one of the huge benefits of turf that, unfortunately we don't have currently, but hopefully we're looking to go that
But
direction.
if you're a Moline supporter and you have a checkbook and you want, what's the check goes to Todd
At
Thompson?
Moline Athletics.
No, just Todd Thompson's fine.
We didn't get too many specifics. So, well, Todd, appreciate you. Best of luck tonight. Best of luck with the weather. Be nice to Andrew as you leave. The meaner you get to them, the worse the weather gets. I've learned that firsthand. So they don't control it. They really don't. So, hey, we got a great night of high school football coming up. Week 5 of the Score. We'll have a lot of great action on both sides of the river. And of course, it's the only half-hour show in town. A guest griller, Deanne Bloomberg from the Farmers Bureau, is going to be in, bringing some great meat and do some grilling for us. So we're super excited about that. We got a lot to get to tonight coming up at 10:35 for the Score. David, we'll throw it back to you guys in the studio.